Obviously, yesterday was game day. Shang-Chi Day has arrived. Shang-Chi opened in theaters nationwide last night on their Thursday night preview night. And we're going to talk about the reviews and the reactions that are coming in from audiences about the film. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But one of the things that we've been discussing about Shang-Chi, besides the fact of how great I think the movie is the fact that I very much believe, unfortunately, that the film is going to struggle to find a lot of success at the box office. And we've talked why. You know, pandemic, no big name stars, no recognizable MCU characters, a mediocre at best advertising campaign. The fact that even Kevin Feige spent all of his time talking about Eternals instead of this one. We've talked about it all. I kind of pegged that this thing's going to make $45 million opening weekend, and we'll see how it does. But that being said, the Thursday night numbers have come in for Shang-Chi, and they're very promising. The reports are coming in that Shang-Chi has made $8.8 million in just its Thursday night previews. Now, to put that into context, let's jump over for a second into the Campea classroom, shall we? Okay. So Shang-Chi, and I totally messed that up. Sorry about that. So we go over here, and we're going to say Shang-Chi made... what was it? They said 8.8 million. Okay. Remember, we're talking about opening Thursday night. Okay. Opening Thursday night, it made 8.8 million. To put that into some context, Fast 9, which made 70 million on its opening weekend, made 7 million on its first Thursday. Okay. So Shang-Chi, which I'm guessing is going to make $45 million opening weekend, has made more, about 15% more, on its opening night than Fast 9 did, and Fast 9 went on to make $70 million in its opening weekend. Now, we need more context, because if you just look at these numbers, you're going to think, well then, John, that settles it. Shang-Chi is going to make 80, 85, maybe $90 million on opening weekend. Pump the brakes for a second. It's important to know that MCU movies, movie fans tend to rush to opening night more than most other fans. Basically speaking, that the opening Thursday night for an MCU movie is going to get more of the people who are interested in it going opening night than most other movies will. For example, let's look at Black Widow. Black Widow, which is an MCU movie, made, get this, I think it was like 13.5 million opening night. Right? Which is almost double. Not quite, but almost double of what Fast 9 made opening night. But Black Widow did not go on to make almost double on the opening weekend full, because that would be about $140 million. Instead, it made $80 million, which was great opening, not great for an MCU movie, but great on opening night, opening weekend, right? What that tells us is that MCU fans will rush out to opening night more than other fans. So while it is very, very good, guys, very, very good, that Shang-Chi made 8.8 million on opening night, where a film like Fast 9, an established franchise, all that kind of stuff, made 7, that does not mean that Shang-Chi is going to make $70 or $80 million in opening weekend. I hope it does. That would be fantastic. It deserves it. But I'm still sticking around the $45 to maybe $50 million range. Anyway, Rob, you see that Shang-Chi makes $8.8 million on its opening night, more than I thought it would, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I'm still pessimistic as to what its overall opening weekend will be. Does this adjust your expectations for its opening weekend numbers? How do you see it?
Well, I did prognosticate, I guess, that I was hoping it would make at least $50 million. I think maybe I'm going to adjust. I think this bodes very, very well for the movie. I really do think, John, they talk about sleeper hits or word of mouth hits. I know that seems strange when I'm talking about a Marvel movie, but I do think that the word of mouth on this film is going to carry it to a larger than expected box office number.
And of course, we're going to talk about that word of mouth a little bit later in the show. Of course.
And I think that I think that's great. I mean, I think this is such a fine piece of work. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was like seeing a movie like Back to the Future. Not that it's anything like Back to the Future, but it's just as entertaining. And I found myself wildly entertained from the get on this movie. It was not what I expected when this movie opened. I mean, I think you and I were both kind of delighted when I saw it with you that second time you saw it. I was not expecting how it unfolded. And I just was thoroughly entertained from beginning to end. And I know, Aaron, from your video reaction, you kind of felt the same way that I did. It was something that was unexpected and delightful.
Aaron, you see these numbers, 8.8, more than I thought it would. You seeing this, where do you think Shang-Chi is going to fall when the final opening weekend numbers come in?
Well, first, point of clarification, Counselor, the $70 million number, I'm assuming that's domestic.
Yes, we don't have whenever you talk about opening weekend, you're always talking about domestic, not worldwide. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that education. I'm thrilled. Anyone who saw my reaction video knows exactly how excited I was about Shang-Chi. And there was a lot of surprise from people out there, which I admit I deserve. Yeah, I was a tough sell. I was not the person who was going to rush out and see this ready to fall in love automatically. I was basically just going from the word of mouth of, my trusted colleagues have shared with me. But I was blown away. And so I then have shared that with my friends and people out there who maybe weren't aware of the film or didn't have the same sort of initial expectation. And I agree completely with what Rob is saying, that the word of mouth of this film is what is going to carry it. I feel like the Fast fans are similar to the MCU fans. If you haven't already seen the previous Fast and the Furious movies, you're not going to have the the impetus to just run out and randomly see the 9th installment of it on opening weekend. You're already invested at that point. And once you've seen it, then you go, okay, great. You've seen the Fast movie. You're not going to go see it multiple times over the same weekend or in back-to-back weekends. But look at how many times you saw the movie. Look at how many times Rob's now going to be seeing the movie. I'm now going to be seeing it a second time when Tom and I, go see it on Monday with you guys. So I'm already looking forward to seeing this movie for a second time. As Rob was saying, it is back-to-back entertainment, fun, funny, action, emotion. It's got everything that everybody needs. And I think that because the reaction has been so strong in some of these early screenings, we're not only going to see a continued opening weekend, but I think that we're going to see that number even continue into subsequent weekends.
So listen, again, for me, I'm super happy. I'm super happy to see that it's getting better than I thought. I'm still going to peg it around the $45 to $50 million mark. I hope it comes. I mean, I'd love it to see it hit Fast 9 numbers. I'd love to see it get to 70, but I don't know. We'll have to see. The question is for you guys. What do you think about the opening night performance of Shang-Chi, exceeding that of Fast 9, but not quite as good as Black Widow, even though it's an infinitely better movie than Black Widow, in my personal opinion? What are your guys' thoughts on this? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.